So the last book that I read was written by the late great Kobe Bryant, and it's called Mamba Mentality. Kobe Bryant's nickname, if you don't know Kobe Bryant, he's one of the best basketball players of all time. He tragically passed away in a helicopter crash like a couple of years ago. Very sad. Him and one of his daughters and a handful of other people. It was a freak accident. And I think since then, a lot of people have really, more than ever, been very obsessed with the kind of things that he would talk about. His nickname was the Black Mamba because he had this killer instinct that was second to none, if you ask me, during most of his career. So he wrote this book. My sister gave it to me for my birthday last year. It's called Mamba Mentality, and I really enjoyed it. Kobe Bryant was an athlete at the highest level. I'm a musician at an amateur level. But there's still a lot of things that I felt like I could take away and directly apply to my craft. So that's what I want to talk about here in this Quick Tips episode. And there's mainly two things. If you're interested in the book, I would say check it out because it is about basketball, but it's really about mindset. And Kobe Bryant was very into things like meditation, mindfulness, imagination, creativity. These are all things that he utilized. It wasn't just weightlifting and training and basketball moves and film study and all these things. He did everything he possibly could. So it's very inspiring. I would recommend it if you feel like you need some inspiration. But one of the things that he talks about in the book is he never worried about his failures. He never worried about all the work that he knew he had to put in. It never bothered him. And it reminded me of a quote that I heard my teacher say one time in his repertoire class. And he said, "We must never be lazy or embarrassed about the work that we have to do." And I had never before heard those two words connected in that way, lazy or embarrassed. But it really spoke to me because when you're kind of looking at maybe a goal that's kind of up there that you can't accomplish yet, I've definitely had the feelings before of, man, I think this is going to take a lot of work. I'm not sure if I'm up for it. Lazy. And also, you see other people that can do these things. When they do them, it looks like it's totally effortless. And I've also had thoughts of like, well, maybe they've got something going on that I don't. And I related to the embarrassing aspect of it. Like, well, they look like they can just do it, but I'm going to have to put in all this work. Maybe I'm just not like them. But I think what both of these people are talking about is, neither of those things matter. What matters is focusing on your goal and knowing you've got to do the work. Maybe you do have to work 3 times as hard as the guy next to you, but it doesn't matter. What matters is if that's the goal you want to achieve, you have to do whatever you can do to get there. And that way you're not lazy, you do put in the work, and you're not embarrassed. And, we should be proud of the work that we do. The problem is we run into people that hear that, they probably feel lazy and embarrassed, and they want to make you feel bad about it. But if you read, this book by Kobe Bryant, or you listen to people like him talk, those things just bounce off them. It's like they're bulletproof. They don't care. And Kobe talks about his failures in the book, and he just said, no one had to talk me up. I would lose a game for my team, and it would end the season, and it would be all my fault. He said no one had to pick me up. He said, the next day I was right back at it, and I was working on the very things that I couldn't do in that last game, because he said I knew it was just, I wasn't good enough then, but I'm going to do everything I can do to be good enough next time. So really powerful stuff. The second way that I've been applying it, this might be personal to me, but maybe you've dealt with this too. If you have, I would love to know about it. A lot of times when I played music for people, I'm scared. I don't like when people look at me. I don't like when I'm in a room and I'm talking and all of a sudden like everyone is listening to me. I feel very uncomfortable. I don't like to be the center of attention. I've just never been that way. Okay. So I picked the wrong instrument to play. Because when you play classical guitar, you're in a room, all the lights are off except the lights on you, and it's just dead quiet, and you gotta play your stuff, okay? That by default is gonna make me feel very uncomfortable. And I realized after thinking about this over a lot of time, and doing this a lot, one of the main things I would feel is fear. And it's just a sense of being uncomfortable. And a lot of thinking about things that probably aren't even really real, like who's in the audience. You know, if they're people I know, are they guitar players? You know, what are they thinking about what I do? Do they think it's good, or do they think it's bad? How come? You know, I just messed up there. Did they hear it? I bet they did. I bet it ruined the whole performance for them. I mean, these are literal things that I would think. So, as you can imagine, they have nothing to do with you achieving your artistic goals in the moment. Okay? Absolutely nothing. They're only going to get in the way of that. And what I've seen about musicians that I admire when they perform is they have no fear. They have no fear. You know, nobody's a perfect player. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes. But you could never tell because they're playing with such an energy where making a mistake is the furthest thing from their mind. Something I remember seeing about Kobe Bryant is sometimes he would have bad games and he'd miss 10 shots in a row. And I would be, you know, I was rooting for him and I wanted his team to win. So part of me would think, dude, we passed the ball, you've missed 10 shots in a row. Like, quit shooting. But guess what he would do next time down the court? He'd shoot again. So I've tried to switch that attitude and I have felt a difference. And I'm going to keep doing this because I think it's productive. All I'm trying to do is make a concerted effort when I'm, you know, performing or doing a recording, because when you record, it's like performance. So you feel the performance anxiety kick in. I just try and think, bring it on. Bring it on, and here I come, and I'm going to attack it. You know, I'm not going to attack it in the way that like an athlete might, with a lot of aggression or physical force, because we're playing music. But I think I'm going to attack it in the sense of I'm not going to worry about a thing. I've prepared this as much as I can, and I'm going to do my best to play the music. And if a difficult part is coming up, I'm just going to say, bring it on. I'm ready, and I want the challenge, and here I come. And just thinking about that makes me feel different. Of course, later you can always evaluate what you do, and you can do it with a fair mind, saying like, well, maybe I really screwed that up, but I went for it, and that's what I should do. Now I can look at it and say, well, I screwed that up, so I'm gonna study it. I'm gonna practice that. I'm gonna get better so that next time that comes out really well. But you have that kind of game day mentality, and I now think of it like as the mamba mentality, not to be afraid. And you know, the truth about what people think about your music is that you can't make everybody happy. So you should just do what you do. And I'm not really telling you this, I'm telling myself this. Like, just be the animal that you are. And some people will like it, some people won't like it. No matter what kind of animal you are, it will always be that way. So you have no choice if you want to feel fulfilled in your work, except to be who you are and embrace the mamba mentality. I literally tell myself, bring it on. I'm ready and I'm meeting it full force, head on. And I definitely feel a difference when I think that way, and that kind of energy is at the forefront of my mind. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, and come join us over at the A Guitar community.